Hello, and welcome back for another episode of the Empowerment Exchange. And today is going to be a doozy. So I'm going to apologize to you in advance because I'm going to be looking at my notes because what I want to share with you is just so good. I'm afraid that I'll miss stuff, and I don't want that to happen. So today we are going to talk about how to stop procrastinating so that you can move your business and your life forward. Understanding procrastination and understanding how it relates to you as a person and also like your personality. But if you have any other challenges to the things that you have going on in life, it all plays in. So today we are going to talk about what it is. We're going to also talk about ways that you can pay attention to what's going on around you so that you can really make a difference in your life. So the first thing I want to touch on, not that we don't already know what procrastination is, but just a little recap, just to recap. Procrastination is essentially just the act of delaying or putting off tasks until the very last minute, or sometimes even past their deadline. And then you have to make excuses rather than telling the truth and just saying, I got sidetracked or I was lazy. You have a tendency to move past even the deadlines that are set. So procrastination is often associated with mediocre or bad grades in school or even a lower salary because you're not acting in your full potential and you're not paying attention to the things in life that need to be focused on. So it can also affect your stress levels as well as physical and mental health. Procrastination has a huge impact on your life, and it can be negative. So let's talk a little bit about the reasons for procrastination. Many people assume that procrastination is just simply a sign of weakness or lack of willpower. In reality, it's really far more complicated than that. There are many reasons that people fall into the procrastination trap. Many people assume that procrastination is simply a sign of weakness or a lack of willpower. In reality, it's really far more complicated than that. There are health reasons for procrastination. I can tell you, I went through that. I still continue to go through that in my life. But I want you to just kind of touch on there are multiple reasons why you may procrastinate. And when we look at some of those health reasons, it's going to be maybe there is a medical condition that you have. Like I just shared with you, like when I was first diagnosed with Guillain-Barré, I had tremendous brain fog, like tremendous. I would forget conversations. I couldn't put my words together. It got very scary, but you don't know what somebody else is suffering from. You may suffer from depression. Procrastination is a common side effect if you're suffering from depression. When you feel hopeless, you feel helpless, or any lack of measurable amount of energy can make it very difficult to start something or even finish something, even the simplest of tasks. Maybe you have OCD, obsessive compulsive disorder. I'm pretty sure I have it to a certain extent because I am always afraid of making a mistake. I'm always trying to make it as perfect as possible. And there are times that I doubt whether I'm completing something correctly. And it's almost like I'll need somebody to come around and stand there kind of like, hey, how you doing? Just so that I'm getting that affirmation that I'm doing it correctly. Now, I've gotten much better. The reason I've gotten much better is because I'm aware of it, right? I went through the worksheet that I'm going to make available to you. I went through all of the reasoning behind procrastinations, and I was able to identify myself and know, okay, well, I've gotten better in these areas. And that, I know if I make a mistake, it's fine. I'm going to be falling forward because I was walking towards the goal. So I'm not falling backwards, right? I'm falling forward. So as long as I'm making momentum going in that direction, if I'm a little OCD, and some people kid around and say, oh yeah, I'm OCD. I can guarantee you that there is a certain level of that in my life, and there have even been levels of my life where, I was suffering from depression, coming out of what I came out of and not being able to do anything. You fall into this space. And it's just being mindful of, hey, listen, there are reasons why I can't get something completed. So if you're listening to this and you're like, oh, wait a minute, yeah, I do have a challenge with this, or I do have a challenge with that. Try not to be so hard on yourself. I've said it a lot, start each day, grace in one hand and confidence in the other. And then if just confidently go at whatever it is that you're doing, but give yourself grace if you don't do it quite right. or if you don't get it all the way done, you've made the attempt, you've taken the action. Or if you have ADHD, both of my sons have ADHD. I tell my husband all the time he has adult ADHD, but it has a tendency, procrastination has a tendency to be tied to people who have ADHD, pretty heavily tied to it. I can tell you on the day, I don't know if my boys listen to my stuff, but on the days when, they need to be actively focused on work or actively focused in school or whatever it is, and they take their medicine that helps them with that, they're far more productive. On the days that they don't take it, I can tell the shift. I can tell that they are slower to complete a task. And then what happens is that snowballs, and then you get to a point where now it's due, and now they're freaking out trying to get it done. Understand that there are health reasons for behind procrastination, whether you're dealing with a medical event or you happen to suffer from depression or OCD or ADHD. Understand that they are tied to that. So give yourself grace as you're listening to what I'm saying. When goals are vague, and if you have abstract goals, when goals are really vague, you are far more likely to procrastinate compared to when your goals are very clearly defined and very sharp. And then abstract outcomes. Tasks associated with abstract outcomes are another contributor to procrastination. These are tasks with rewards or punishments that will only be received long after completing the task. Outcomes that are far in the future relative to the task being completed tend to be discounted by those working on the task. Many people have a bias to choose activities that offer some type of reward in the short term at the expense of working on tasks that have better outcomes in the long term. One of the things that I offer to my clients is called laser coaching. And what that means is 15 minutes. So we will hop on calls, but it builds upon the previous call. This is a very good coaching for very high performing people. So we come together how often as you need it. Normally every week we have a 15-minute call, and client comes on, and whatever it was that we talked about the week before, there's a stackable on that. So if there was something that they were struggling with and we figured out what it was and we stepped into a solution in 15 minutes, the next week we would talk about, okay, how did that work? Did you get it done? Whatever it was. And it's helping them organize not only their time and their thoughts, but getting into a rhythm of showing up and having the conversations and building upon what it is that they were supposed to do. And there's a reward for that, because for every 4 times that my clients complete everything and they move into the next thing in their life, they get a free session. So as you can see, there is motivation behind that. So I can tell you, talking about the whole reward system part of things, yes, I think that there are, how many of us have discount cards for stores? We have them for coffee. Don't judge me. But my son and I have a coffee date every week, right? That's how I keep in check with what's going on with him and making sure that I'm available for him and things. So we have a coffee date every week. And you get those little bonus cards, right? The bonus rewards. And you're like, hey, I earned a coffee. So it makes you want to continue to go back to the place, or at least makes us want to continue to go back to the place to get a coffee reward. People like finding little rewards in their life. And I can tell you, if you're working on something and you know that if I get it done quickly, I'm going to get a reward, or I'm going to, get a free session. We have a tendency to focus on that more because it seems to be closer, attainable. So, but then if you're saying, well, in about 6 months, we're going to give you X if you get it done. When will you start worrying about it? You'll start worrying about it 5.5 months in. Do you see what I'm saying? I'm talking about. So it's understanding that it's important to figure out what's holding you back. It's important to understand where your procrastination comes from. And it's important to set clear, defined goals and clear, defined outcomes that will really help you get unprocrastinated. Is that a word? It'll really help you kind of achieve what you need to achieve and accomplish what you need to accomplish in a timely manner. Sometimes procrastination is caused by a phenomenon known as temporal self-discontinuity or temporal disjunction. This is when you view your future self as being somewhat disconnected from your present self. Now, this was interesting for me. The disconnect that can occur between your present self and your future self can cause procrastination in a variety of ways. This was interesting for me because I can I can honestly tell you that I have fallen into this a couple times in my life, seeing where you are now and seeing where you want to be in the future. Like for me, I mean, I talk about it all the time, wanting to lose weight, wanting to physically be and feel like the person I see myself as, right? These are vulnerable conversations. But sometimes in my present life, right now, where I'm sitting, I know where I want to go. I know the trajectory I was on, and then I got sick. That I know where I want to be, but it almost feels like it's unattainable because in my mind, I know what I want to look like. I know where I want to be. I know what all that is. But seeing where I'm at now and being like, okay, so sometimes my legs don't work. I have like zero arm strength. I have like I still have issues with my hands. I don't have all the feeling in my hands. And I'm like, so how am I going to actually get from where I'm at right now over here, over here? And I know that it's progress over perfection. As long as I continue to make 1%, here you go, I'll show this to you, 1% better every day, I am making positive changes in my life. As long as I am striving to make 1% change, to be 1% better every day, I'm on the right track. So I can totally understand this future self-disconnection. Totally get it. And also understanding that sometimes you may procrastinate because you might be pessimistic, or maybe you're so optimistic that it just kind of throws things off kilter. Sometimes you might procrastinate on a task because you're just like supercharged about, yeah, I can do this. Woohoo! I can do this. No worries, right? And you'll wait till the last day or the morning of, and then you'll start running through it and realize, oh my gosh, I wasn't as equipped for this as I thought I was. So understanding that your optimism or your pessimism could be at play in all this as well. So understanding that we play a big part in why procrastination is a part of our lives. Now, not all of them we can control. I mean, if you're suffering from certain things with mental health and stuff, hopefully you're getting the help for that you need. And it may take a little bit longer to get into the rhythm. And I've watched my own boys go through that, getting in the rhythm. But once you get in the rhythm and once you start believing like, hey, I can do this, I can manage this, I can go through that. Now, I'm certainly not, I'm a coach. I'm not a therapist or a counselor. So I'm not going to diagnose you, or a doctor. So I'm not telling you that you have something wrong. I'm just giving you some reasons why procrastination may be happening in your life. And, or just really that you just feel overwhelmed. I work with women business owners, women entrepreneurs, single moms who just feel overwhelmed in their life. And sometimes the very thing that needs to get done the most is the least prioritized. So now you're going through the day and you're taking care of stuff for the boss, or you're taking care of stuff for your clients, or you're taking care of stuff for your husband or your family or your kids or whatever. And then that one thing that you needed to get done today, like, oh my God, I totally forgot to do it because you didn't prioritize it. So it's just the sense of feeling overwhelmed. And it gets to a point where a single task is like, I can't do this. I just can't do this. I mentally cannot do this today. And there are times I've said that in my life, right? Like, I'm a transformation coach. I'm a life coach. I'm a mindset and a money coach and a confidence coach. I'm all those things. It doesn't mean that I've perfected it all. I'm human too, more than anything. So I go through every day. I work on my confidence every day, my time management every day, my procrastination. If I procrastinate, like there are things I work on every day. It's not like you just do it and it's done and it's over with. Life is a constant journey of perfecting things more and more, or a constant journey of progress. So please don't look at this like I'm going to just realize what this is and boom, my procrastination is over. It's a journey. You are going to face things in life that either life itself, something that happens, causes you to procrastinate, or something that you're dealing with or coping with or sorting out on your own causes you to procrastinate. Give yourself grace. Give yourself the same grace you would give your best friend, your child, your partner. Give yourself grace. Be kind to yourself. So now we've talked about a lot of the reasons why. Well, and the last one I want to share with you is perfectionism. I am imperfectly perfect, and I am A-okay with that. There are some things that I strive for perfection on, and I realize, you know what? close to perfection is close enough for me. I understand that it's always progress over perfection. That is what I live my life by. I do have a couple of clients who are working through their perfectionism and their struggles with it. And I have had friends who are just self-proclaimed perfectionists, and they're really hard on themselves and they make their life harder than it needs to be. But unless you walk in and you put your hand up and you say, "Hi, I'm Jennifer and I'm a perfectionist," or "I'm a procrastinator," or "I am whatever," unless you believe that and you want to make the necessary changes, it's not for me to tell you to do that. So perfectionism is another one. It's something that really can prevent you from moving forward in your life and in your business. So now we're going to swing on over to some ways of dealing with that. Again, hold on one second. Let me get through here. So now I'm going to share with you 4 steps to stop procrastinating and to start moving forward. Now that you understand the plethora of reasons why you may procrastinate or for procrastination, you can better understand why you can fall victim to procrastination and now figure out how to stop. First one is define the nature of your procrastination. As you read through the reasons that people procrastinate, and I'm going to make this available to you if you would like to have this procrastination. It's an ebook that talks about it as well as a worksheet so that you can figure out, hey, where do I stand in all of that? Please let me know. I'm actually going to make it available to you. So as you read through it, because I didn't cover everything, as you read through it, which one do you think is going to resonate with you the most? Do you tend to make abstract goals, or because maybe you feel overwhelmed? Is that the reason you procrastinate? Once you know this information, you can move forward with a plan to fight against and overcome the procrastination in your life. The next thing you need to do is establish your goals. Remember, the more defined your goals are, the more likely you are to take action on them. They should be significant enough that progress is meaningful while it's also being attainable. So you want to make SMART goals. You want to make ones that are very specific, measurable, that they're that you know that they can be accomplished, that they're achievable, that they're realistic, and they're time bound. Do try to make sure that your goals are SMART goals. And then create a plan of action. Your plan should be a combination of anti-procrastination techniques that are relevant to the nature of your procrastination. This will allow you to deal with the situations that lead to your procrastination and prevent you from achieving your goals. And then you just need to implement your action plan. As you begin implementing your plan, be sure to monitor your progress and redefine it as you go along. Try different anti-procrastination techniques and keep what works for you. This is why I have accountability relationships with my clients as well, because let's say you're facing something. Like when I started my weight loss journey, I hired a nutritionist. I went with a personal trainer and I worked with her, and she kept me accountable in my workouts. My nutritionist kept me accountable in my water intake and the foods that I was bringing in, and making sure that the macros and all of that were right. Because it made me not only stick to what I was doing and the plan that I was doing, but it also made me learn how to organize my life, organize things around me. And that became very powerful for me. So I have clients, as they're navigating divorce or navigating a career change or starting a business, they come to me for accountability because I'm invested in their success and I'm there to cheer them on, but I'm also there to have conversations with them that are hard. And when you bring in somebody who is an accountability partner or is there to mentor you or to coach you, understand that they're coming from a place of support, guidance, and love. I love every single person that I help. I love my clients. They become extended members of my family. I love them. And I'm there and I care about them enough in their success where I can say, hey, listen, we talked last week and you were supposed to get this done and you didn't. Now, what were the reasons behind that? Or, hey, we've been talking at this now for a little bit of time. You haven't taken the steps that you need to. Tell me what's going on. Like, I want to be there to hold them accountable, but also be there to support and guide them because life happens. In the middle of life happens. So understand that, finding somebody that can hold you accountable, whether it's with me, whether you're somebody who would benefit from a laser coaching relationship, find somebody who could be there and be there to support you. That's the most important thing. And let's talk about some strategies to overcome procrastination. It is possible to overcome procrastination. I can tell you that. I can tell you that for sure, because I have overcome it in multiple areas of my life. Now, the next one that I'm trying to overcome is working out every day, or at least every other day, because of my limitations right now and my energy level. By the end of the day, my husband, God love him, we have a very nice gym set up in our home, and he'll be like, you want to come out? Want to come out with me? Because he works out faithfully every day. And we've had the conversations, and I've said to him, I said, you just need to say, let's go. Let's go. You have to be accountable. So I'm trying to be more proactive rather than him having to drag me along. So again, I'm using different techniques to overcome procrastination in areas of my life. First thing you need to do is recognize that you're procrastinating. It is really easy to blame other things and other people for why you're procrastinating. Why you haven't advanced in life or advanced in your business is to say, well, if it wasn't for these kids, or you had me go out to the store all day, or you had me do this and that. It's you. Look inside. Walk around with that mirror. Know when you flip it open, I'm 100% responsible for myself. I am my only limit. I am the reason that I am procrastinating, or there's something going on that I need to get a handle on that I'm procrastinating. So really just recognize that you're procrastinating. When things start to get put off indefinitely, or you keep switching your focus to avoid the task, guess what? That's definitely procrastinating. Figure out the reason that you're procrastinating. You need to first understand why you're procrastinating before you can begin the process of fixing it. Maybe you're avoiding the task because you think it's boring. How many of you have not wanted to do something because you were bored or you knew it was going to be boring? Maybe poor organization is the source of your procrastination, or maybe you have doubts about your abilities to complete it, or are worried that you're going to fail or you're going to make a mistake. It's also possible that you just subconsciously fear success. Let me stop there for a second, because I can tell you this is a doozy for a lot of women that I work with, because I always challenge them with that. Well, they're like, well, what if you didn't fail? What if you succeeded? And it always stops somebody dead in the tracks. Like, well, I never thought about that. Really? Well, this is why you're stuck. You never thought about going into something and being successful at it, or being really, really good at it. I work with a lot of women who fear success. They just fear it, because then it's like, well, if I do this right, then I may be asked to do more of it. And then if I'm asked to do more of it, maybe people start recognizing me, and then maybe I'll get a job promotion. I'm like, stop me when some of this doesn't sound right. Stop me when this isn't what you want. It's really just the fear of being successful at what it is that you set your mind out to do. Self-sabotage could be coming in and holding hands with the procrastination going on in your life. And that could be another reason why you're not completing the task. And that goes back to confidence. That goes back to limiting beliefs. That goes back to all the things that I teach, that I coach on, and there are solutions for that. And I think a lot of it sometimes is just, where do I start? Who's going to be there to support me through the journey? How am I going to do this? And that's why you come work with me. I'm there for you. I can support you. I can give you things that can help you. But once you recognize that you're procrastinating, you start figuring out the reasons why you're procrastinating, then you can adopt anti-procrastination strategies. Procrastination can be a deeply ingrained habit that may be really hard to break, but you can. It won't get better overnight. Try some of these strategies for your best chance of succeeding. The first one, forgive yourself. Forgiveness is powerful. Forgive yourself for any past procrastination. Forgive yourself of past procrastination, and forgive those people around you who may be like, whoa, I didn't think you were actually going to show the initiative to do it. Forgive those poor people. Have the bless your heart moments. Just forgive them. Focus on doing, not avoiding. Get up, show up, go get it. Give yourself a treat. give yourself a reward. You know what I mean? Give yourself a reward, give yourself a treat. Because once we kind of get that big, nice dose of endorphins and we're like, oh, hey, me, you're going to want to continue to do that. You're going to want to continue to do that and celebrate and move forward. Find an accountability coach or find somebody in your life who can be there, whether it's, committing to losing weight, committing to getting a certain amount of steps in every day. Like my son, Justin, is faithful about getting a certain amount of steps in every day. And if in walking around, he doesn't get it done, he will then do loops in the basement till he gets it done. Like he is so dead set on making sure he gets it done. I mean, I have much respect for that, but making sure that you have an accountability person that can help you, whether it's me, whether it's somebody like me, whether it's a personal trainer, it's a business coach, whatever. Find somebody that can not hold your feet to the fire, but can be there to guide you and support you. Because sometimes if you're trying to do something in your life, whether it's start a business maybe, or, go up in your career, you may be the only person who's there to support yourself. You maybe have a lot of naysayers who are around you saying, she's not going to do this, So you may be it. And if you have somebody that can be there to cheer you on, who really is invested in your success, that makes a huge difference. It's made a huge difference in my life. I think for the past 15 years, I've had business coaches and I've had my own personal coaches, so I can tell you how valuable it is to have somebody who is there to guide you, to challenge you, to support you, to hold you accountable. And that really makes a huge difference. And then tackle things as you go. Don't be overwhelmed trying to complete, okay, I've listened to this empowerment exchange. Now I'm going to run out the door and I'm going to do all these things. That's great. But make sure that you're trying to focus on one thing at a time. Tackle as you go along, so I don't want you to get overwhelmed. And minimize your distractions. That's huge. I can remember before I moved my practice online and I moved it remote, that I had an office, and it was so difficult to get done anything I needed to get done in my office because people kept walking in and they would sit down and they would want to have a conversation, which was fine. I like socializing, but you can get really distracted. And then before you know it, you've had a couple cups of coffee with a friend who stopped by, and now boom, that task that you needed to get done by today, you either have to stay after a few hours or you have to push it off to the next day. So minimize any distractions that you have around you and take baby steps, one step at a time. One of the things that I do, you can't see off, here from where I'm sitting, is I have this glass. It's like an acrylic board and it's a to-do list, and it's a to-do list for that day. And I don't try to put 20 things up there. I put 5 things of priority that I know I need to get done, and I won't stop my work day until they're done. I don't want to have any excuses as to why something gets moved into the next day. Now, of course, unless we have the power goes out or something that's beyond my control. But if it's in my control, those 5 things are going to get done. And I highly recommend that you do a to-do list like that. And then also identify your peak times. This is really powerful for me because my energy level is really, really high in the morning. So I try to make the most use of my time in those times and identify what your peak times are. Like by 2 or 3 o'clock, I can still do stuff. But if it's high energy, intense stuff, I have to do it in the morning. But I recognize that. So I schedule myself according to that. So I know we have talked about a lot, and I didn't even cover all of the reasons that cause procrastination. And I didn't really, dive in really, really deep because I didn't want to keep you here for 3 hours. So what I'm going to be giving away today is the Stop Procrastination and Move Your Business Forward ebook, as well as a worksheet. And I think there's a checklist that goes along with it. So please just send me a note. If you're watching this on Facebook, it will be available to you. If you happen to be watching it on LinkedIn or on YouTube, just let me know. Send me an email, jennifer@shirocoaching.com, and I will get this to you because it's really good stuff. And I think when I can honestly tell you, after I read it, after I applied it to my life, after I identified what my holdups or hangups were with procrastination, and I started putting some tools into place, it has made a huge difference. A lot of that for me started with time management, and then just setting my tasks, finding my peak times, and really looking at my life and saying, you know what, I'm the only person that's in charge of, I'm the one that can control what I do and what I don't do. And I needed to make sure that I was able to put things in place that worked for me. You need to find things that work for you. So thanks for letting me go a little bit longer than I normally do on an empowerment exchange, but I felt like this stuff was just so good because sometimes we get so hard on ourselves, and I just want you to stop procrastinating, and I want you to be able to move your business and your life forward. So I look forward to coming back and having another chat with you next week. And as always, I'm here. I'm here to help you move forward in your life, in your money, in your career. So please reach out to me too. You can go to my website, jenniferperry.com. Go right on my calendar at talkwithjennifer.com. Schedule a virtual coffee with me, and we will hop on the phone and we will sort out what's going on in your life, and we will get a path forward. So have a great rest of your day, and reach out if there's anything that I can do to support you.